statement from Coach Payne, and then we'll go to the players. So, Matt.
Yeah, obviously it was a very competitive game. Arizona's a great team, but it's in those games when you're playing Alabama or you're playing Tennessee or Arizona, just the caliber of those teams, you got to keep coming offensively. We gave up too many of those flip-up lob dunks, especially coming out of timeouts, just allowing easy baskets. I thought a big piece of the game was when we played really well at the end of the first half, and then we got overzealous for a couple possessions. We should have been up 15-16. We're only up 11 at half, but I thought Fletch really was active and got some steals, got in some passing lanes, and him and Braden got going. And, to be able to have three guys play at that level offensively, I think really puts defenses in a bind, enough to where they went to something they haven't ran all year in that 3-2 matchup zone that they were playing. But we got to get better on the defensive end. I know you don't like to, kind of pick at things, but when we're rolling like that and they're giving us open shots and rhythm, worried about Zach, we have to have that balance. And I thought tonight we had that balance. I thought our guys did a good job of competing and playing, and obviously they have a really good team. Caleb Love, Keyshawn Johnson was fabulous tonight. We really wanted to try to keep the ball out of the middle. When we did, it really helped us. When it didn't get kept on his side, they had more success, and I thought Keyshawn Johnson was really good. And then Caleb Love really got it going, but they have a good team. They have a good team. They're going to beat a lot of people, and they're going to be there at the end.
All right, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you right here in front. Stand. And name and affiliation, please.
Brian Newberg, goldenblack.com. Fletch, what got you kind of rolling early?
Question for Fletcher.
I think just being aggressive. I think going in with a different mindset that we're going to need a little more tonight, no matter who it came from, not necessarily me, but obviously we got a really good team. And I think just going in, getting more warmed up and getting more ready to go, and then just being aggressive. That I missed my first one, not thinking twice, and shooting the next one like I know it's going in.
Questions, please, right here.
Casey Bartley, Boiler Upload Rivals. Braden, going into that game, the way Arizona plays defense, did you know you and Fletch were both going to get a lot of shots early and have to take advantage of it?
Braden.
We just knew how they were playing Boston D, and me and Fletch kind of watched some film. We saw some tape. PJ kind of told us a lot too, just kind of what to expect, that they're going to be in that deep drop. So being able to just come off and really be aggressive and get that pull-up shot.
Questions, please. Right here in the front. Stand.
For Fletcher and for Braden, I think you two are probably kind of linked, just coming in together, dating back to playing each other in the high school regional. How much have you two grown as teammates, just where you know each other's game so well, and how much, does that help, the development from freshman year to sophomore year?
Fletcher, start with you.
I think just both our desires to win, it's just really sparked, and we push it along against our teammates too. Like we that's all we want to do when we go out there. Whether Braden has 26 points or whether he has 10, whether he has 2, I think he just wants to win the game. And same with me, and same with the other guys. I think that our whole team is really just, especially with the loss like last year, it's something you don't want to feel again. It's something you had to sit with all summer, but it's just something we want to push along with one another.
Braden.
Yeah, I think me and Fletch just hold each other accountable. We kind of had a little moment in the game before versus Alabama where I got on him and I kind of yelled at him and snapped, but he just looked at me and said, like, I understand why you're like that because you want to win. And he's the same way. And I think just being able to kind of have that where two guys are very competitive, and the whole team's like that, but like when it's just coming from me and him, I think it goes a long way.
Back in the back.
Hey man, Kyle, Sports Report Media. Talk about the Indy Classic and how important this is to the fans, and you guys come down here and all your fans in this area.
Matt.
Yeah, it's a great event. We obviously liked the previous event, that we were in. That made a whole lot of sense. Why people didn't want to do that is still all right. But it's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with Indiana and Notre Dame and Butler, like that just makes sense. Like, why not keep playing that event? But to each their own. So we're going to try to just keep building things. It's just hard because people aren't going to come into Mackey Arena a lot, just like we don't want to go into McHale, right? But we know those games make us better. We like to have one of them, we don't like to have two of them. But to get quality neutral games, even though this is our crowd, and then next year we'll play them again in Vegas. It was huge. You can't, get enough exposure, especially in your state capital in Indianapolis with your fans, and you got to keep doing things like that, but it's still hard to navigate at times. That's why, like, when you have the ACC Big Ten Challenge and you have the GABA games and you have all those things, you're setting your schedule. But like now you're gonna get a quality home game, you're gonna get a quality road game, now get a good MTE, now go find one more, and now you're at 6 really good games there. Because I think that's what you have to do. Like you have to put yourself in those positions to get a quality seed to hopefully enhance your chances.
Right here in the second row.
Todd Golden with CNHI. Matt, as good as Fletcher and Braden were from the arc in the first half, you still scored 26 points in the paint, outscored your 3-point shooting. How close is that to, you spoke about balance, how close is that to optimal balance for you guys to be, the championship contender you expect to be?
Yeah, no question. Braden navigates a lot of things for us. Kind of looking through last year, the more we just kind of played through ball screens that came to post-ups after that really helped us, and it helped other people too, because he's coming off ball screens looking for he's looking for other people. Now when we get the ball reversed, get it to the other side, now we can get into a post-up, they get into a double, they get into a rotation. Now everyone's had a chance to get it if he doesn't shoot it or pass it directly. So just having that balance, but like organically letting it happen. I think like you go into a game, you say, oh, you really ran more stuff here, you did more stuff here. Like, I thought Fletch just organically, even though we run some things for him, scored the basketball tonight. Whether he was driving the basketball or whether he was shooting the basketball from 3, I think there was a little bit of a balance whether we're just kind of playing and moving the ball versus, plays. But I think that's the hardest thing for a player to understand. You still have that piece of you where you just kind of, you want to score. Once I'm messing with him about scoring 2 points, like, you didn't want to score 2 points. Who the hell wants to score 2 points, right? You want to win the game and you're above it, but deep down, like, you have that feeling. It's just the way you are as a player. But when you get a really good team and you get balance, and they just take what the defense gives them. That's why we messed up at the end of the first half. We did some things we shouldn't have done. After we just did a lot of things in a row offensively that we should have done. Like we were really clicking right there, and you just got to keep taking what they're giving you. And with him in there, if they're going to pressure you and they're going to spread out, just throw him the ball. Just make your life easy. Just, and these guys come in, they don't believe me when I say just throw it to him. Just throw it to him as much as you can and just let them overhelp. Now we got people in rotations, now we got people in closeouts. And then he's really good. Him and Braden do a great job in ball screens. You think you can prepare for him until you get with him. And like he just takes up so much damn space, whether he's posted, whether he's setting a ball screen, and now it just gives those guys space, and it's what both these guys to my left and right need. They need space, and once they do get space, now they can manipulate the defense.
Right here in front.
Matt, Tommy Lloyd was asked what these two do well, and in short, he said they win. And I think that when you go out and recruit guys, that's probably, with all the basketball skills in the world, probably the number one trait you're looking for. So what was it about these two guys that, were competing for Indiana Mr. Basketball just a couple of years ago that you thought could come in and give you, a boost?
Yeah, well, just their competitive spirit. I think that's more than anything. You have to get guys that have a skill set, but they have to be able to win and understand the game. Both these guys understand the game. I think that's the biggest thing when you look at recruiting. It's more of an evaluation than it is recruiting, all right? Because a lot of times rankings is athleticism. It's what it is. It gets down to it. These guys aren't ranked high because they weren't, extreme athletes, all right? And that's just the way it is. And people look at it that way and they go out by the rankings. And after we lost a couple of years, about 10 years ago, I went totally against that. And we started getting guys like Klein and Matthias and PJ Thompson, and those guys were just winners. And they were good pieces of the puzzle. And obviously these guys are big pieces of our puzzle. But that's where it starts with. You got to be a good basketball player. You got to be smart. You got to understand what's going on, and you got to be able to take some things in. And about 10 years ago, I had no one to talk to during the game. It was really hard. I was talking, but they weren't listening. So you got to have a back and forth. When you have intelligent players, you get to talk to them back and forth because they are going to feel something and see some things out there that you're not as a coach. All right, they just are. And when you can have that, now you can really grow as a group.
Right here in the second row.
Dylan Sin from the Journal-Gazette in Fort Wayne for Coach. You guys, Arizona came into the game #1 in the country by a wide margin in rebounding. You guys out-rebounded them by a fair amount today.
Right.
Zach only had 9. It was pretty balanced. What did you guys have to do to get that done?
Well, if you look at it, you know, they shot over 50%. So it wasn't one of those games where there's a bunch of misses, right? You try to, when you can keep people in front of you and you can stay out of rotations, your rebound balance is going to be better. So that's what we try to do. But like when they had so many drives coming off of it, we really wanted to keep them off the right side of the court and down those ball screens and just get up there and switch. Fletch did a good job a couple times taking charges. The one he got for a block, that's all we were trying to do is switch that and keep it right there. Because when they get to their right hand and get ahead of steam, they make those plays. They make those passes, they make those shots, they get fouled a lot. And so we were trying our best to do those things. But, you know, they're a tough cover. You know, they're a really tough cover. But for us, like, you know, the telltale of like any team is, and today's not the game, is when you don't make those shots, can you still beat somebody? Like when it's not your game and the ball's not going in, can we grind it out? We don't have that answer quite yet. We had maybe a game in Hawaii, the Tennessee game. I thought we did a great job grinding it. Fletch made some huge plays in that game, and that was a good sign. But can we do that? Like tonight, those guys, you know, they make 9 threes between them. You know, we shoot the ball pretty well from 3. And I think that'll be the big thing. We're not really worried about as much as being ranked as in terms of getting better and just improve. I think that's the #1 thing for us. It's going to be hard.
Right here in front.
Matt, this week you talked about plus minus not telling the full story according with Trey's game in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
He really started playing well on the glass to start the
Right.
game and then passing the ball in the second half. How good was he for you?
I wanted to go back to him, and we got that little stretch right there. I put him in, then I took him back out, and I was getting Zach back in, and I went a little bit more. But I thought he set the tone. He rebounded. You know, he had 6 rebounds in 15 minutes. You know, I thought he was physical, and I thought he got him. He gives us a different look at that position, a guy that can post and get on the glass. You know, I thought he had a good game. I wish those guys. It's hard with Mason and Caleb and him. I always want to play him more. So, but it gets difficult. Each game is, you know, kind of a game in itself.
We got time for 2 more, so
Let's just stay the night. I mean, shoot.
Real quick, Greg Bragg's Boilers in the stands. This is for Braden and Fletcher. The Evo basketball, you guys had to play with it today. Seems to go, you know, it's kind of an adjustment. You know how I feel about it, Matt. That's right. So I'm just curious your adjustment to playing with that basketball. What's that been like the last 2 years? It seemed like you guys were comfortable today.
I don't. It's something that both teams have to use. That's what you got to think about. Both teams got to make shots with it. It's not the best ball, but you just got to deal with it. It's something that should hopefully change, but who cares? You got to go out and win a basketball game. Whether you're outside or whether you're inside, whether you play with the blue ball or an orange ball, who cares?
I see it the same way. It's basketball at the end of the day. I mean, everybody's playing with it, everybody's using it, so.
back here.
Griffin Leonard, Ball State Sports Link. Question for you, Coach, about the event. Obviously, you guys against Arizona, the headliner, but another game with Ball State, Indiana State before you guys to kind of help showcase Indiana basketball.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you to be part of an event that not only you guys get to continue to get exposed nationally, but it
Right.
gives mid-major programs like Ball State and Indiana State an opportunity too?
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, I grew up a Ball State fan, you know, living on campus. But no, it's great. You know, Mike's done a great job. You know, lost some key guys, you know, to the portal, and still, you know, has done a really good job, and they've been very successful. You know, Josh has done a fabulous job at Indiana State where he's got them, and they have a good team, and they've really been able to build and keep some guys. But no, it's a great event for everybody, and it's a great event for those guys to grow and, you know, and get better and get on a neutral court and play in front of, you know, a lot of fans here. I wish more of our fans would have got there to be able to watch them in that first game. But no, this is something we're going to try to keep doing and try to keep setting this event.
This young man was next right here.
Matt, you I noticed in the first half you subbed out Braden and Zach about midway through for 3 minutes and then brought him back in. And then the second half you did something similar, but they went on a run and you cut it kind of short. Did you have that plan going in, and kind of what was the choice of when to bring him out and then when to bring him back in?
Sometimes you don't get a dead ball, so I like to get Lance at 16 and then get Braden back at 14 and sometimes it runs to 12, and so then he goes out like 2.5, 3 minutes. It depends the game, it depends the opponent. So that's where I try to get him. Like against Alabama, I got him for like one possession. He pushed back on me, whatever. I said, hey man, you're just going to be out for one possession. Like we're going to play defense or whatever. He's like, man, I'm just getting this going. I noticed. So, but like, you know, when you get going, you don't want out. Like today, like I'll get Fletch a little bit earlier, but he had it going, and so I left him. So I didn't get Fletch until that to 12 minutes or whatever. And so like you don't want to. We used to have it with a couple big guys that we had. They'd play really well, but they'd get exhausted, and then I'd stay with them, and then they'd just, you know, it'd be a train wreck. It'd be awful, you know. But they just scored 4 straight baskets. Why should you take them out? But then they foul because they're tired. They miss a layup because they're tired. They don't get back on defense, and so then I had to get them before they got to that moment. So with Zach, I don't like having it where Braden's not in and then Zach's not in. And when Zach's not in, I want to play Trey Kaufman because it gives us another post-up guy. I find a way to mess it up though. And you can't think about getting people in. You got to think about, you know, how are you going to score? Like, how is this going to work? Like, what can you run? So I work a lot with PJ Thompson, and we try to sit and kind of figure out certain lineups, what we can go to, what we can't go to. Because if we can get some shots up and we get quality shots, then we have a chance to rebound also. And we have a pretty good rebounding team.
Okay.
But no, that's just kind of the crux of it, if that makes any sense.
We're going to take one last question right here.
This is like going to a club or something. We've had a couple of like 3 or 4 1-mores. What would Coach Beatty say about that?
Hey,
Get locked in.
for both players, just to extend this as long as we can. Can you talk about that 6-minute dry spell there in the second half, why points were so hard to come by, and what broke you out of it?
I think they went in that zone, and they haven't played zone all year, so that was kind of the first time we kind of saw it. And we were just trying to get in the middle and get to Z, and then miss a couple bunnies. We missed a couple threes, so we just weren't hitting shots. And then defensively, we weren't getting stops at that time. So, I mean, they made a good little adjustment there, but then Lance hit that 3, and I think it kind of took them out of it.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm sorry. Once again. Go ahead.
That zone stumped us a little bit as we weren't really expecting it, but really just knocking down that first shot, like Lance said, and just getting back in our rhythm, not letting them control the pace of it.
All right. Why wouldn't you want to play hard? Right? Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.